We are the Sci-Fi Channel.
A housewife is witness to a murder, even though she is nowhere near the scene of the crime.
I could see the whole thing. I could see where her body was.
The dive should have killed him, but this man set a new world record using only the power of his mind.
Mind and body are inexorably intertwined.
A couple is saved by a split-second premonition, while others plunge to their death.
I heard one word, run.
A child with autism can communicate with the outside world only through his artistic genius.
Dane is truly very, very unusual and very exceptional.
A top-secret government agent tracks down an unstable dictator using only his psychic ability.
Obviously, this would be a tremendous asset because then you could very clearly target your resources on the things that you want to obliterate.
These are real people who have tapped into undiscovered channels in the brain. Call them psychic, soothsayer, savant. They have crossed the threshold of rational thought into the mysterious mind.
Among scientists and academics in hallowed halls of learning like these, psychic ability is a scam. Clairvoyance is a fluke, and mind over matter, it's a myth. But you'll meet people on this program who believe that the mind is capable of miraculous, supernatural feats. They believe because it's happening to them. Hello, I'm Tim White, and on this special edition of Sightings, explore the mysterious power deep within each and every one of us, the power of the mind. Clinically speaking, a human brain is pretty unremarkable. 4 lobes of folded tissue, weighs about 3 pounds. But plug it in, so to speak, into a human body, and a brain becomes capable of greatness or madness. It can love, hate, create, destroy. It can plot to kill, or it can catch a killer.
I could see where her body was. I could see the killers. I could see almost everything that had happened.
This is fire again. Keep telling me I get the feeling of fire. It's like a joint enterprise, but 2 people go into something together. And if there's a wooded area that we have to walk into.
I want the killer.
Dorothy Allison was just another New Jersey housewife until she began making headlines with uncanny visions of gruesome crimes. Is it really possible to catch a killer through psychic ability alone?
Dorothy's predictions were frighteningly accurate. Just everything that she had said came to pass.
Robert Cox is a retired newspaperman and a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. For 3 decades, he covered the crime beat in central Pennsylvania, and in all those years, there's one case he just can't forget. It was a macabre murder the police could not solve until Dorothy Allison looked into the past and predicted the future.
When it was all over, I was a totally changed man on this. My thoughts were 180 degrees different.
It was 1976, and Debbie Klein had just graduated from high school. She was on her way to her first real job when she vanished without a trace. Did she run, or had she been taken? Months passed. There was no sign of Debbie, dead or alive. Her parents were desperate and asked the police to contact psychic detective Dorothy Allison.
I came out on January 22nd, 1977, because the case was at a dead end at the time. And I met with Paul Wechter. He didn't know what a psychic was. He admitted so. He says, I don't know what psychics do. I know nothing about them, but I am willing to accept anything you have to say.
Paul Wechter recalls the jibes he took when he brought a psychic in on the case.
I was an investigator for over 20 years with the state police. I got involved in just almost anything you could imagine. Stakeouts, drug investigations, murder, everything. My feeling was, whatever it took, do it. And here was an incredible tool that no one had ever used. Why would we scoff?
Dorothy Allison arrived in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania in the dead of winter. What happened over the next few days would forever change the way Wechter and his fellow detectives viewed the power of the mind and its potential to solve seemingly unsolvable crimes. From the moment of her arrival in Chambersburg in January of 1977, Dorothy began to sense that Debbie had been the victim of a horrendous crime.
My idea was, how can I help police? And I have helped police.
You are listening to the actual tapes Dorothy made during her investigation.
It was Dorothy's suggestion that we made tapes so we could refer back to them later on. Everywhere I went, tapes went with us.
These audio tapes have never been released to the public until now.
You are going to find the things I told you. I can guarantee it. They did something for children out this way. Something new has been added to this place.
There were a number of things that she said that later on did come true. One of the requests was that she wanted to go meet the parents. She asked if there was anything that Debbie had worn recently, any jewelry. That was my recollection. The mother said yes. There was a school ring that she had gotten. Dorothy put the ring on, took it off, thanked her. We all went outside, and she said, "Debbie's dead. Don't tell the mother that. It'll be hard enough when we find her."
When she gave me that ring, I knew then and there, I could see the whole thing. I could see where her body was. I could see the killers. I could see almost everything that had happened to her. It was just such a quick flash, unbelievable. Like I was looking at a TV set and I was looking at a movie or something.
What Dorothy saw on her psychic TV was an episode from the last day of Debbie's life.
When they leave that place where that car was left, right? He would head towards a place that brings me into a different town. It's like a joint enterprise where two people go into something together.
Dorothy sees two men, an abduction, the woods, and then the unspeakable horror.
I knew that she was raped. I knew her throat was cut. I knew that they were just brutal to her, and they were vicious men.
She said she's been murdered. There were two men involved. She said she's buried. She's in a dump that has been burned over. She's covered with something, and she's sitting upright. The level of detail of the description of the crime and of the scene where she was thrown was incredible.
There's a wooded area that we have to walk into. I feel that she's, halfway in and halfway out, not completely buried, like deep.
The tapes provide a detailed record of how the mind of a psychic detective works. Spontaneous, unencumbered by time and space, images tumbling out, some vague, some specific, like the names of the killers. And Dorothy would eventually be proved right on all of it.
And I said that Robert Richard was with her. So now you find out who that is. It's not their names.
Dorothy told the police that one of the men responsible for the crime was already in jail on another charge. Detective Wechter asked Dorothy to look through a book of mugshots.
When I went to the police station and looked at the mugshots, I picked out one in particular, and I said, this is one of the men that killed Debbie. I couldn't find the other man's picture, but I knew this one in particular did.
Dorothy looked at a mugshot and picked out Dodson and said he's one of the two.
Richard Dodson was a convicted rapist, and Wechter had a gut feeling that Dorothy was right. This was their man. But Dodson wasn't talking, and without a body, the police needed a confession to charge Dodson with murder. Dorothy told Wechter that she knew how to get Dodson to crack. She'd had a vision of Dodson's past and told the detective to ask about the fire.
Fire again. Keep telling me I get the feeling of fire. Something just made me so hot I thought I was burning.
Dorothy didn't know that years before, Richard Dodson's entire family, including his own son, had been killed in a fire he was suspected of setting. By mentioning the fire, as Dorothy had suggested, Detective Wechter opened up a floodgate of guilt.
And he broke down. He said, I didn't kill my boy. He died in a fire. I said, you killed them both. He said, I didn't kill her. The other guy did. Ron did. I was along, and that was over.
Wechter had his confession. Dodson admitted his involvement and implicated Ron Henniger, a convicted sex offender. Both were convicted of the abduction, rape, and murder of Debbie Klein.
I think Dodson's confession might have been triggered by Dorothea's involvement in that. She threw the fear of God into it.
Dodson also led state police to the mountainside dump where he and Henniger had left Debbie's body. The police found her just as Dorothy had said they would.
It was exact. She was sitting upright. That was the most incredible part. She was still in her uniform, in a white uniform, and you could see her hair was still very much intact, and then you could see her. And of course, it was a very unusual moment for me, one of grief and sadness, yet the case was over. We knew now for sure the facts, but I was filled with a terrible feeling that this man did not have a right to live.
I feel Dorothy had quite a lot to do with the solving of the case. The case went on for 6 months, and she arrived, and 4 days later, it was solved. She gets concentrated on a subject, and there's no shaking her. She's like a bulldog. You can't be around her until you appreciate the intensity on which she works and draws upon her sightings or visions or whatever she's picking up and lays them out for you.
There are many crimes that are unsolved today, and if we can use a psychic, if they can assist, I would not hesitate.
Why am I doing this? Yeah, I know why I'm doing it. I want the killer. I like to get them.
I think her ability is rare. What it is, I can't tell you. She's got it. She's got it in spades.
Most cops hate the word psychic, but the fact of the matter is that police officers, sheriff's deputies, even the FBI, all rely on psychic ability to some extent. They call it intuition, the blue sense, gut instinct. But these are just euphemisms for the art of tapping into the unknown, to a sense that's beyond reason or science.
Sightings continues after the break. I am the realization of all you imagine. You are being accepted into the volatile state of the paranormal. Here, insight comes from beyond the place known as life. Your guides are truly untouchables. Unexplained does not always translate as unbelievable. Seek the intangible and meet us on the other side, where the Sci-Fi Channel is all things science fiction.
It's good to know you can see Bobby's on the beat. Or take a quiet drive through the countryside. In a land where an Englishman's home is his castle, you can still find the odd thatched roof. And in London, you can see a pearly queen or two. It's good to know things haven't changed a bit. The Rover 200.
Get ready for the summer's biggest showdown. Godzilla versus the world.
What do we do? Running would be a good idea.
From the creators of Independence Day. Godzilla.
Hi, come and check out the B&Q sale.
This powerful little Karcher pressure washer, now for under £90. Terrific.
You can even save on plastic carving. Big savings on bathroom suite.
This shelving's down to £239, and that includes a tap.
Scatter rugs, only $3.99. The kids will love this soccer fan.
See when this Black & Decker cordless fill.
And there's loads more. Come and see for yourself.
The B&Q sale is on now.
Oh, it's down legs. 11. Madam, clickety-click. Table 66, gentlemen. Unlucky for some. Table 13, sir?
If you're game for bingo, we are. New National Lottery Instance Bingo. 3 ways to win. Top prize £80,000.
Bingo! 2 fat ladies. Table 88.
Organics is heat activated to actually improve the condition of your hair. And now there are special offers on both Organics shampoo and conditioner. Organics, where there's heat, there's beautiful hair.
Our CoverGirl's polished in more ways than one. Nail slicks, 3 steps in one. Base, color, and top coat, all 3 combined in one step. Easy. So many shades. Which color to choose? Easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
Not everybody's idea of a pet. Hamsters, rabbits, fish. I believe he's partial to all of them. And next door, they used to have a poodle.
And it's good to know that with prices from £8,995 and 0% APR, a Rover 200 is within your reach.
Time is of the essence. So take a moment to unwind. Good timing. Bad timing. It's all relative. Time is relative. Quantum leap is constant. Every night, 8, Sci-Fi Channel.
You're watching Sightings on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Paranormal researchers believe that we're all born with ESP, but that as we grow up, we lose that supernatural part of ourselves to rational, mundane thought. However, these same researchers believe that everyone retains at least a glimmer of their psi potential, like when the phone rings just after you think that it will, or the feeling that a loved one far away needs help, and they do. We can call it coincidence or ESP, but these things do happen, and they can't be easily explained away.
I heard my name called. I heard one word, run.
Only trouble was, no one else heard it. It was only in her head. It was 1981. Jean and Bob Sternecker were at one of the weekly tea dances they usually tried to get out to at the Kansas City Hyatt Regency. To hear Jean tell it, her life was pretty ordinary. Nurse, wife, mother. The word premonition was not part of her vocabulary.
Well, it was a real fun atmosphere. It was a nice place. People danced on the dance floor, they danced in the aisles, and they danced in the lobby, and it was a lot of fun. The band was playing Satin Doll, and it was somewhere around 10 minutes after 7. I heard my name called, and I jumped to my feet to see who. I heard one word, run. So my husband jumped up to see what was wrong with me. And I'm yelling, run, run. Oh my God, please run. And was pushing on him. We got about 5 feet when this deafening roar was behind us.
It was the most devastating accident in Kansas City history. And Jean and Bob Sternecker missed being on that overhead walkway by less than 5 feet. 114 others were not so lucky. Jean believes it was divine intervention that gave her the gift of foresight. Others believe that Jean had a glimpse of her latent psi potential through a spontaneous psychic premonition. But all agree that if we had known how to harness this prescient gift, many more lives would have been saved. At Laurentian University in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, neuroscientist Dr. Michael Persinger is trying to quantify the psychic experience. He is one of the few academics in the world willing to do research into the paranormal.
One of the most challenging aspects of what we might call the unconscious mind, but really we should call it a paraconscious mind, is paranormal phenomena or parapsychology. We do know that these experiences occur cross-culturally. They've occurred historically. They involve spatial relationships, where people are, important people. They involve emotional bonding. They involve love. They involve determining where important people are that you love or are connected to at a distance.
But do they have the power of precognition? Can they transcend the past, present, and future? Dr. Dean Radin is the director of the Consciousness Research Laboratory in Las Vegas, Nevada. He believes the study of psi will answer these fundamental questions.
Psi is a neutral term that was developed a couple of decades ago to encompass 4 different kinds of phenomena that people report. One type is called telepathy, meaning mind-to-mind communication. The other is clairvoyance, in which somehow we get information from a distance. The third is precognition, where we get information from the future. And the fourth is a completely separate category of interaction between mind and matter.
So, why are there so few colleges and universities doing serious and scholarly paranormal research?
Nobody wants to be identified as being the institution where all the Ghostbusters are at. And it's because of that fear of the institutional image that has prevented most of the research from taking place in the academic environment, which is a pity, because anyone who's actually paid any attention to the data comes away with shock.
The data Radin has amassed so far seems to indicate that there are specific locations in the brain where intuitive thought is stored, and perhaps it was the activation of one of these brain centers that saved the life of Alex Heindel.
Several years ago, I was up visiting the family of my then fiance, and while I was cleaning my revolver, her father asked me if I would take a look at the revolver he had in the house and see if it needed cleaning, and I said sure.
Alex cleaned the revolver and started to reload, but something made him stop at the 5th bullet.
I started to put it in the 5th empty chamber when the alarms went off in the back of my head and something was saying, don't put that bullet in the gun. I listened to that warning. I simply closed the revolver up with the 4 cartridges in it, leaving the hammer resting on an empty chamber. Some weeks later, I was up again visiting. I was there when my fiance's father realized that his wife had just filed for divorce. He came home. He was obviously upset. He went in and he got the revolver, and he was waving it around. At one point, he asked me if I knew that his wife was going to file, and I said yes, I had known. And at that point, he stuck the revolver in my face and he pulled the trigger. The cylinder rotated so the hammer fell on the chamber that I had almost put the 5th cartridge in. And had I put it in there, you and I would not be having this conversation today.
But how do we study scientifically events like the one involving Alex Heindel? Dr. Radin, who heard the story from a colleague, has tried to develop a way to study this kind of precognition in his laboratory.
Well, that episode gave me an idea of how to test in the laboratory whether or not sometimes we get feelings about the future. If you wanted to formalize this in the laboratory and create an artificial version of the episode with the gun, you obviously can't use a real gun. And so I use a standard technique in psychophysiology in which you present pictures to people.
Volunteers are hooked up to heart, brain, and respiration monitors to record their physical reactions to a series of randomly generated pictures that can be either calming or disturbing. Dr. Radin has found a marked trend. The volunteers are reacting to the pictures before they see them.
This person, before seeing the emotional pictures, began to react before they came up. And the point of this experiment is to show that because of this differential effect here, before the picture has been selected, suggests that your intuitive hunch is somehow getting information from the future. This case is only 5 seconds, but nevertheless, this is meaningful statistically because of the difference. You compile everybody's data together, you get whopping effects.
Dr. Radin has also found that sometimes precognition can occur without the subject even knowing it. Such seems to have been the case for Katie Thronson, a little girl who loved to draw. Like any other 7-year-old, Katie was curious about the world, so when she came to her mother one day with a question about death, it seemed only natural.
She came into the room where I was sitting, holding a tablet that she had been drawing on, and in a real innocent way came up to me and asked me, "Mommy, am I gonna die?" And I said, "No, honey, of course not. You're not gonna die." And she said, "Never?" And I said, "Katie, no, you're not gonna die." Then she just danced off, happy that she wasn't gonna die.
But 2 days later, Katie did die. She had complications from a ruptured appendix and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon bid goodnight to this world.
And in my spirit, I just knew that my little girl had been taken.
A few weeks later, Julie Thronson found the drawing that Katie had made just before her death.
She had drawn a picture of these angels surrounding a light, and the cloud and the moon had sad faces, and all the angels had sad faces, and some of them even had tears coming down their face.
Julie brought the drawing to Dr. Gerald Jampolsky, a child psychologist who also counsels bereaved families.
I pointed out that at 3 o'clock, it looked like one of the angels was going toward the center, going toward the light.
I was like amazed for a minute. He doesn't know that Katie died at 3 o'clock. There's no way he can know that.
And the drawing took on even more significance for Julie when Life magazine published a picture that bore a striking resemblance to Katie's drawing. This 19th century engraving was part of an article on life after death. The depiction of a welcoming vortex of light surrounded by angels is common to both pictures. Both pictures also have the circular tunnel of light, commonly reported during a near-death experience.
The picture said everything. When I saw it, I knew without a doubt that Katie had a premonition. She knew she was going to die.
But that sudden flash of the future, that once-in-a-lifetime premonition, couldn't it just be coincidence? Perhaps. But what if this kind of precognition saves the same life twice? Jack and Dolores Wheeler had a whirlwind romance, a fairy tale wedding, and then a call from the draft board. After only 1 month of marriage, the Wheelers were separated by the Vietnam War.
I wrote to him every day, and I thought of him constantly. I knew he was in battle, but I didn't really want to think about it.
But there was one night when Dolores just couldn't push the thought of danger out of her mind, and Jack seemed to hear her warning 10,000 miles away.
Something got me up that night.
Jack was sleeping in what infantry soldiers in Vietnam called a hooch.
It was 2, 3 in the morning, and I felt a presence around me. And I looked up, and I saw my wife in a long robe, gown, beaconing to me. And I got up, went outside the hooch, and I was maybe 20 or 30 feet from it. And suddenly there were 2 loud explosions. 2 mortar rounds had come in, and it hit the hooch where I was. And there was shrapnel throughout it, and shrapnel throughout the cot and everything. And people would ask, why I wasn't in the hooch. And I'm convinced that I saw her. I mean, it was very difficult to understand, and nobody understood it, and you couldn't explain it. And to this day, I can't explain it.
After the war, after their family was grown, it happened again. Jack used to joke that he didn't need an alarm clock because he had Dolores. Without fail, she would get him up for work every day. But one day, for some reason, Dolores let Jack sleep a few extra minutes.
Ironically, I got angry at my wife for getting me up 5 minutes late because I told her I needed to be in at this meeting, and I had some stuff I needed to do, and I needed to be in the office at 9. And this morning, since I was about 5 minutes late, I was just exiting off of the freeway, getting onto 6th Street when it exploded.